Okay, gang, so listen up. I'm going to tell you about the best game in the world to play with a church youth group, and especially the best game in the world to play during a lock-in. The game is called Christian Guard, and it is phenomenal. And when you discover how to play it and how to play it right during a lock-in, you really aren't going to want to do anything else, except probably eat some snacks and occasionally go to the bathroom. But then you're going to want to play Christian Guard. So anyway, listen up. Here's the deal. But first, before I teach you how to actually play the game, you have to understand the game because it's based on an actual portion of church history, which is very important to understand what Christians went through in the early part of Christianity. Back when Christianity was very young, back in the first couple of hundred years of Christianity, back around AD 100 to 200 and 300, back before anybody in the Roman Empire had become a Christian in terms of an emperor, back when Christianity was still illegal, Christians had to keep it a secret from people in the government that they were Christians. That's because the emperors of Rome had this idea that they were gods. And they felt that if somebody was worshiping another god, they took that personally as a threat. So anyway, what Christians had to do, especially, and the first emperor who did this was like the dude Nero. He was the first one who really took off with it. He persecuted Christians. I mean, he really persecuted Christians. Now, today, people say, "Oh, I'm a Christian, I'm getting persecuted. Boo-hoo-hoo. People don't like me. Boo-hoo." No. This was real persecution. Nero would take Christians and put them in the arena and make them fight lions. And the lions ate them. Nero would take Christians, crucify them in the street, and pour pitch on them. And then if they hadn't died by, like, when the sun went down, he would set them on fire with the pitch, and they would burn all night, and he used them as street lamps. So in order to, not let that happen, the Christians went underground, literally underground into the catacombs beneath Rome. One of the other names for Christian Guard is sometimes called underground church. They were underground. So the Christians in these catacombs, which are places that they would bury the dead, they would go around in the catacombs and hide from the Roman guards, because the Roman centurions were given orders when they found Christians, they were to arrest them and throw them in jail. And then if Nero felt like it, or whoever the emperor was felt like it, they would have them killed. Christian Guard, the game, is based on that time, because the Christians of that time, they would find a spot in the catacombs and leave messages written on the wall in the catacombs, written in secret symbols, to let other Christians know where the church was and when they were going to gather there to worship God. It was all incredibly secret. And Christianity flourished even though they were being persecuted and even though they were going to be killed. So the game Christian Guard is based upon that situation and that period of history. So here's how it works. The entire church that you're in during this lock-in is going to be pitch black. All the lights are going to be turned out. Now, occasionally, for safety purposes, there will be an exit light that may be on. Lights in the church are going to be out. Everybody in the youth group, everybody that's here at the lock-in, is going to be playing the game, except maybe for one or two of the adults. But most of the adults will play too, because it's that kind of game. Some of you will be Christians, some of you will be guards, and one of you will be a Christian guard. So, let me go over the rules with you. The basic rule, the basic way to win the game is, if all the Christians find the church and make it to the church, the Christians win. If the guards round up all the Christians and get them in jail, the guards win. Or if the guards catch the Christian guard in the act of setting the Christians loose, then the guards win. Here are the actual rules that I'm going to go over with you. And there are 25 of them. Be patient with me. And you need to understand that I have been doing this game for over 25 years. And some of the rules may seem odd. And you'll say, why in the world does the preacher have that as a rule? The reason I have that as a rule, if it sounds weird, is because it actually happened at least once. Now, you would think that it would be logical. Of course you don't do that, but it happened. So I had to put it in the rules. Okay? So just bear with me. Here are the rules for Christian Guard. Rule number 1. No running. For real, don't run. Okay. The church is going to be dark. Portions of the church will be pitch dark. Other portions of the church will be just dark enough that your eyes won't really adjust. Okay, then. So no running. Okay? Okay. Rule number 2 is no running. Okay. And I mean it. You don't run. Seriously. The church is dark. You don't know where everything is. You're gonna get hurt. And what's more important, you might break something. And now, I don't mean your nose or your legs. I mean something that belongs to the church. You might break a pew or a wall. Don't do that. No running. If we catch you running, we can't play the game. Seriously, no running. Don't run. Stop it. Rule number 3. There are 3 types of players. There are Christians, there are guards, and then there is the Christian Guard. Which one you are, it will be determined because you will draw slips of paper out of a hat. On that slip of paper will be either the words Christian or Guard or Christian Guard. Okay? Most of you will be Christians, and that's fine. There should be about 1 guard for every 5 to 10 Christians, depending upon how many you people have at the lock-in. There need to be at least 4 guards, one of whom will be the Christian Guard. Rule number 4. It is the Christian's job to all find the church. One of those spots in the church building will be designated as the church. And if all the Christians can make it into the church at the same time, the Christians win. Yay! Rule number 5. It is the guard's job to arrest the Christians and take them to jail. If the guards get all the Christians into the jail, the guards win. Rule number 6. The Christian Guard is a very special player in the game and the most important player in the game. Our hero. The Christian Guard has to know what he's doing, he or she is doing. The Christian Guard is a Roman guard that has secretly become a Christian. The Christian Guard does not let the other guards know that they are a Christian. If you're the Christian Guard, you don't say, hey man, I got a Christian Guard. Don't do that. That means we have to draw all over again and everybody gets mad at you. Keep your identity a secret. The Christian Guard has 2 big responsibilities in the game. Number 1, the Christian Guard has to pick which room in the building is going to be the church. And number 2, the Christian Guard has to set the Christians free from the jail when the other guards aren't watching. It's called a jailbreak. It's the Christian Guard's job to cause a jailbreak as often as possible. I saw that movie. Rule number 7 is no running. I really mean this. Okay. I can't say this enough. No running. Issue with him. You're gonna die. So don't run. Rule number 8. If the guards find the Christian Guard, setting the Christians free from jail, the guards win. Game over. But the guards must catch the Christian Guard in the act. The guards can't just figure it out and say, well, we've got it figured out. We know it's him or her. No, you can't do that. You have to actually have proof. The guards have to catch the Christian Guard in the act or it doesn't count. Which is why we have rule number 9 is that the guards can't guard the jail. What? I know that sounds kind of oxymoronic and backwards, but yeah, the guards can't actually guard the jail.
Guards can't guard?
They can't stand around. They have to actively go out and try and find the
That
Christians.
makes no sense.
And they can't work in pairs. They have to be alone working so that way they don't know who the Christian guard might be. Rule number 10. Whether you're a Christian or a guard, your job is to walk around the church, hide for a while, and try to find the church, or try and find a Christian. When you bump into somebody in the dark, you say to that person, Christian or guard. That person then answers back to you what their character is. I'm a Christian, or I'm a guard. I'm arresting you. Okay? And you must tell the truth. No lying. If one person's a guard and one person's a Christian, then the guard can take the Christian to the jail.
It's the cops.
No avoiding, no resisting arrest, no running away like your own cops. Okay? No. The guard takes the Christian to the jail. And if the two of you are Christians, then you can say, hey, do you know where the church is? No, I don't. Well, then let's go together and try and find it. And you sneak off into the darkness and try and find the church. Rule number 11. You are only allowed to go into the designated areas of the church in which you are allowed. If the pastor's office is locked, you aren't allowed there. If they tell you you can't go up where the pulpit is in the sanctuary, you aren't allowed there. Don't go there. Rule number 12. You are not allowed onto the roof of the church.
What?
Remember how I told you that every rule has a reason for being there? Yep.
There go my plans.
You are not allowed to go on the roof of the church. You're not allowed to even go outside. Rule number 13. You are not allowed to go home in the middle of the game without telling anybody. You've got to stay here. It's a lock-in.
Duh.
You can't just decide you're going to walk home. Rule number 14. Please do not go outside and break the street lights. I don't know why you might think that's part of the game. But you are not allowed to do that. If you do that, I call the cops. Rule number 15. You are not allowed to hide in the boiler room, behind the boiler.
What?
Don't do that. Rule number 16. The Christian guard cannot pretend not to be a guard. In other words, the Christian guard can't say, hey man, I'm Christian. You have to remember, if you were a Roman guard in the first century, you would be dressed like a Roman guard. You can't say, I'm not a guard. I just play one on TV. No, you can't do that. The Christian guard has to say, I'm a guard. You can't say, I'm a Christian. And the Christian guard cannot make the church the jail. You can't do that.
I'm confused.
Because then you don't know who won. I mean, listen, there are a lot of Christians in jail, in prison, and they have church there. I understand that. But for the sake of the game, you can't do that.
Confused.
Be over too quick.
Who at?
Rule number 17.
What?
You are not allowed to jump out of the balcony.
What?
Now, fortunately for us in our church, we don't have a balcony, but this rule is in here for a
Somebody
reason.
was stupid.
Understand? Rule number 18. Do not hide in the bathrooms. Leave the bathrooms for people who actually need to use the bathroom. Nothing is more unnerving than running into the bathroom and using it, only to find that there are other people in there hiding and listening to you go to the bathroom. The bathroom is for people who need to use the bathroom. Don't hide in there. Number 19. If you draw the Christian guard paper slip, don't tell anybody. Don't say, hey man, I got Christian Guard, finally. Well, then we have to redraw again, so you blew it. Number 20. If you cheat, the game isn't any fun, Kevin. The game won't work if people cheat or lie, Kevin. So don't do it. Rule number 21. You can't hide in the church kitchen with the snacks, Kevin. Those snacks are for everybody. Plus, you eat too loud and it gives away where you're hiding. But no, you can't do that. Rule number 22. Do not come dressed as Batman, Brenda. Although I admire the gumption, feel free to wear all black clothing or camouflage. That's been done many times to hide in the darkness. The world's champion at this game is a man named Art Dioge, who is now a grown man with children, married, who once fell asleep on a top shelf dressed in pure black. Nobody could find him. We never found him all night, and he awoke in the morning. He practically disappeared. He was the champion of the 20th century as far as I'm concerned at this game. Rule number 23. Christians should find out from the Christian Guard where the church is. That's part of your job, Christian, find out where the church is. There's nothing more frustrating than if 17 Christians are in the church waiting on 2 other Christians to find the church, but they're hidden somewhere under a pew somewhere talking about something else and not really playing the game. Christians, find out where the church is. And if the church is busted, that is, if the guards find the church with a bunch of Christians in it, they'll figure out that's the church. If the church is busted, then the Christian Guard next time around should designate a new church after he jailbreaks the Christians out of the jail. Okay? Pick a different room. Rule number 24. You're not allowed to carry other people. Like I said, it's dark. When you put a person on your shoulder or piggyback, you're not really sure of your headroom. And, well, anyway, just don't carry people. They might not want to be carried. Have you ever thought of that? Don't do it! Rule number 25. Seriously, if you run during this game, you will probably get hurt bad because it'll be dark, you will run into stuff, maybe step on a Lego, break a toe, fall down the stairs and catch fire. Then the pastor, the preacher, me, I'll have to perform an emergency baptism to save you, put you out. And then you have to explain to your parents why you're so stupid. And we have to call an ambulance and the cops. And if you're really unlucky, we have to take you into the backyard of the church and shoot you because your leg is broken. Then our insurance rates go up. And so, please get it. If you run, you might just die. So don't run. If you run and get hurt, seriously, if you run and get hurt, we might never be able to play the game again. Because sometimes church people can get grumpy. They broke their head. It's all your fault, preacher. I don't want that grief. So, don't run. Have fun playing this game. And then maybe when you're done and exhausted, you can think about what it was like for Christians when they were doing this, but it wasn't a game. And it wasn't fun to get arrested. And they were playing for keeps. So that's Christian Guard. And the next time we have a lock-in, we will play it. So think about that for a while. No running, and I mean it. Don't do it. You don't run. Seriously. No running. I really mean this. I can't say this enough. No running. You're gonna die.